sports and TV shows, live streams, streaming live on YouTube, going live on YouTube, No, I don't want to exit. I'm going to do Illinois Tri-Meet. Full replay.
Good afternoon and welcome to Huff Hall at the University of Illinois campus. Today, Big Ten's men's gymnastics tri-meet between the 6th ranked University of Illinois Fighting Illini, the 2nd ranked Michigan Wolverines, and the 8th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Hi, I'm Hamish Carter, and today I'm joined by my good friend and teammate Clay Mason Stevens on the Big Ten Network broadcast, bringing you the action for this conference clash.
How exciting!
Well, the Illini returned to Huff Hall after a rare tie on the road last week at Iowa. A good performance for the road, but well below the scores the Illini are used to seeing from this squad.
Yeah, we saw Illini didn't quite score what they have hoped to be scoring the last few weekends. Well, they did have a few weeks off, I guess, but look, Illini will be looking to up their score from last week, and it was very, very interesting to see that that tie. We don't usually see the team competition tie. So that was very, very interesting. But I guess there'll be a lot of improvements that Illini are looking to make this weekend, especially in front of a home crowd and obviously senior night. So these seniors have been competing with each other for 4 years now, know each other very, very well. They're like car seats. They go way back.
The Michigan Wolverines come into Champaign with an undefeated score of 10-0. They are coming off a big score last weekend against Minnesota, going nearly 409 in the team score. This is a team very strong nationally on high bar, ranked first, P-bars and pommel horse also.
They are a very, very strong team in general. They don't have too many holes in
This
their,
is just warm-ups.
in their apparatus. There's not really any apparatus that they're very, very weak on, which is obviously a massive, massive advantage here. So it's going to be very exciting to see how they go against Penn State. Illinois obviously have a little home advantage, so it's interesting how they pick themselves up as I said, after last week's performance. And also be interested to see how Penn State do. Penn State's the #1 ranked team in the country on pommel horse, and they're starting on pommel horse, so it's going to be very, very, very exciting. We've got Stephen Edorosik on pommel horse, who's, barely even arguably the best pommel horse worker in the country at the moment. I was lucky enough to compete in Australia with him just a few weeks ago at the Melbourne World Cup, where I was competing for Australia, and he was on for USA, and he did phenomenally well over there on the international stage. So we're very, very lucky to have him in Huff Hall today.
Absolutely, they have hit 70 plus once this season on the pommel horse, which is a fantastic score. Normally scores only achieved on events like vault and floor. So to do this on pommel horse would definitely give them an advantage going into this. They have a 10-1 on the season, coming off a tough loss at Nebraska last weekend. As Faye said, a very strong pommel team, and also on the rings as well.
It's going to be very, very exciting to see how these teams pull it together today. Illinois, obviously, with as we said before, with probably the worst record out of the three teams. But I don't think anyone's sleeping on him too much because they know that there is a lot of potential in this team. But unfortunately, due to an injury last weekend with Hamish Carter, who's here on the mic with me, that's going to be a bit of a hit to the Illinois team. But it'll be very interesting. We've got Jordan Kovacs coming back into the lineup on certain events, which will hopefully pick up some of the slack that we're losing from Hamish.
Yes, Jordan, a great P-bar worker and also a top scorer for the Fighting Illini on the high bar. Jordan also puts up a very solid floor and a vault score and in fact rings. Here we are, we have
Alright, first up on the rings.
Thank you. Michigan starting on the rings. We have Caleb Booth on the rings for the Wolverines.
That's quite correct. Back a rise cross, pull up to L-tip. That is a very, very difficult skill there. Requires a lot of strength and a lot of back to cross. Beautiful cross position there. Yamawaki, Pike Yamawaki, which is the Jonathan, and Baccarat to the L-tip. A little bit shaky there, but looking pretty solid here. Slight bent arms in that handstand position. That's you see any sort of wobbles or bent arms in the handstand, like we've seen there, that's incurs a slight deduction. And the back, double back. And he should be fairly happy with that routine.
Forgive me, that was Adam Wooten for the Michigan Wolverines. And that sounds like a stuck this out for Zach Zielkowski for the Fighting Illini.
Yeah, we didn't see it on the stream, but we'll be handing out some candy to the crowd for that one.
Next up on the rings, looking like Cameron Bach for the Michigan Wolverines. Into the travel sequence now on the pole. They'll go back and forth over the handles just like this.
Coming close to his dismount here. Up. Oh, he's had a little bit of strength work there, and he's come down on the wrong. They're coming down on the wrong side of the horse. But other than that, it was a very strong routine, but he will be a bit disappointed with that dismount there.
Now into Cameron Bach on the rings, as we said. Very strong all-rounder for America and the NCAA. Into the handstand position, keeping those arms locked straight, his elbows not touching the straps. And that is a stuck dismount.
Very, very good dismount there. We're very happy with that. You can see the Wolverines are in the background, very excited with that. It's a very, very strong rings worker and all-round worker, as Hamish said, and he'll be very happy with that routine.
Paul Judah recently just qualified for the US national team after his performances at the Winter Cup in Las Vegas a few weekends ago. He'll be very excited to continue this all-around performance I believe he's competing in, maintaining high scores throughout his events.
Bit of a long wait here for the ring score. I'm trying to find some scores for you viewers now from the other apparatus, but they haven't quite come out. It's not very easy to see for us at the moment. It looks like as we go to the floor here.
Oh, here we are, Max Diab.
Landing there from Max Diab. Once again, I said it before, Max is a bit of a postman. He's always delivering for the team. Couple stuck landings there for him in those last two passes. That was a 2.5 on the front half. Very hard skill here, strength skill. The Maltese on the floor.
Max showing that he can not only just tumble but also do difficult strength sequences on the floor.
Back double twist here. There's another stuck landing. Here we go. We go into the dismount here. Big deep breath before he goes into his back triple twist.
Max Diab for the fighting Illini on floor, a fantastic routine. Plenty of sticks throughout that. Now back to Paul Judah. Cameron Bock with a start value of 15.4, actually scoring 14.15. That is a very strong score on the rings event.
Another double-double. A little bit wobbly on that landing, like a newborn giraffe, but it is very, very nice in the air. And we didn't get to see too much of that routine, but looks very, very strong into the dismount other than that landing.
Next on the pommel horse for Nittany Lions Penn State is Nick Mock, a very strong pommels worker, as I've heard in the NCAA.
Very big gymnast. Oh, look, that's going back to floor.
Connor McCall will be the next fighting Lion to compete on the floor exercise, freshman.
Back to the pommel. Starting off with a big scissor to the end, which is a great move there. A lot of extension in this circle. He's a very big guy. As I said earlier, his line looks very beautiful. That skill there is very difficult. Swing the whole way around on the one hand. Swing very nicely. A little bit of a wobble there and a leg split. That'll incur a small deduction. But other than that, routine's looking great so far. Oh, now unfortunately he's come off.
That is a whole point fall for Penn State on the pommel. Here we are, back to freshman Connor McCall on the floor.
Connor has been very, very impressive with his performances on the floor for the Fighting Illini this season so far. Especially as a freshman, he's been scoring very, very high scores, which has been contributing massively to the team. Once again, another postman-like performance here from Connor.
Connor earning Big Ten weekly accolade on January 14th after his performance in the win over UIC on Saturday here at Huff Hall.
Connor's going through this routine beautifully. Big deep breath before his triple twist dismount.
Will he stick? He will!
Beautiful landing there, beautiful routine from Connor McCall. Illinois will be very, very happy with that one. I believe before Connor's routine was max and he scored a 14.1 if I'm correct. So that should get a score very, very similar, if not higher than that. So Illinois starting off very strong on the floor.
Paul Judah not quite able to put up a score as high as Cameron Box, but still with a 13.65. That is a solid rings score. Rings one of the pieces in the 6 events that generally isn't quite as high scoring as you will see on the vault and the floor. So 13.65, the Michigan Wolverines will be pleased with that.
got Stephen Nedrosian coming up next on Pommel Horse. A very, very exciting routine. Maybe the most exciting routine of the night for viewers, as again, he competes for the USA on this and is a World Cup medalist on this event.
Nick Mott with a 12.8, with actually a very high start value, 5.7.
Beautiful scissor across the whole Pommel Horse.
The skill is called the Kulak.
Oh no! Unfortunately, he's fallen off on that single pommel Russian skill there. It was very, very difficult skill. So obviously a lot of room for error there. Usually he performs very well, but unfortunately it hasn't quite paid off this time.
Penn State, that's 2 falls in a row for them on their strongest event.
Here we go. One of our seniors, Sebastian Kiana, capable of scoring very, very high scores here. Starts off in the front 2.5 twist with a small hop. Back 2.5 on front layout full. Looking quite strong out there so far. Whip to a rapid double front to a stuck landing. He's looking like he's solid out there. He's really showing those 4 years of experience that he's had.
Yeah, Sebastian Kiana always made liner for the fighting liner on this event, which is a very commendable feat.
Little hop there, he won't be very happy with that. That's one of his easier passes, but the rest of the routine looking great.
Now, as part of the floor routine, gymnasts must show a skill as such, a handstand, a Maltese position on the floor. Bass has opted for the handstand. Here he is into the dismount.
Nice routine, beautiful routine there. Not quite a stick, it was very, very close, but see Bass around the back brace. Looks a little bit like a corset, but I'm unsure whether he's trying to look skinny or just trying to save his back.
And here we are with Stephen, still on the pommel horse due to the fall.
Once again, as I said earlier, such a beautiful pommel horse worker. He's got a beautiful line. Very unfortunate with that fall, but it won't surprise me if he still goes quite a high score.
Absolutely.
Even with the fall.
His start value is so high that, as Clay said, he can afford to fall, although he won't want to, the team won't want him to. He can afford to fall and still put up a score that in most cases will be higher than most of the gymnasts competing on the pommel horse event. Okay, and here we have some scores coming in on the pommel horse of Penn State. Jack Baldwin, 13.33. Okay, just a few scores to the fight line on the floor. Zach Zielkowski moving the fight line off with a 12.45. Adam Manoff, second, with a 13.5. And now, fight line top 4 workers, Conor Corner, Sebastian Kiana, 14.8 and 14.6 respectively.
Unbelievable.
Those are some great scores.
They will be very, very, very happy with that. Leading off the competition very strong.
And closing the first rotation for the Michigan Wolverines, we have Jake Moore on the rings. Jake Moore, known for his performances on the floor. Last year he achieved the Big Ten title on the floor exercise.
Zero in the Maltese, very, very strong. Sorry, to cross. That cross is very, very flat, very nice position. Back across, same thing, very strong there. Party on walkie, back across to L-sit. Struggle punch, his feet are a little bit low in that, but he's held it for a decent amount of time, which is important. need to hold those strength skills for at least 2 seconds. Usually people say 3 just to be safe, or else you can incur deduction.
Some slight bent arms on the long swing exercises here. Winding up the dismount. Double.
Stuck dismount. That's beautiful. Once again, that's 2, maybe even 3 doubles from rings that have been stuck today for Michigan, and they'll be very, very happy with that. They are definitely getting around the boys, and after the first event, they'll be very happy going into, I believe, I'm not actually sure exactly how they're running the competition, whether they're going to floor or going in Olympic order, but they'll be very happy with that first rotation nonetheless. Just waiting for some overall scores to get in so we can have after the first rotation the leaderboard.
Some scores for Michigan on the still rings. Adam Wooten led the team off with a 13.35. Cameron Bach, as we said, 14.15, a great score for the Michigan Wolverines. Paul Jr. gave them a 13.65 on the rings. And we are just waiting on Jake Moore's score now. Jake.
There's one of the stuck dismounts in Michigan. Maxed the with a double twist punch front full. One of the passes from Connor McCall, scoring massively on the floor, helping that team out a lot. Beautiful lines there from Paul Judah.
There is freshman Connor McCall sticking his dismounts. Stephen Rossick finishing off his whole routine.
There's another one of those stuck dismounts. There we go. Okay, so we're going to head to break. We'll be back when the next event starts up. Alright, we are back after the first rotation. How did we do for scores there, Hamish?
So the Illinois had a fantastic floor rotation, scoring a 70.0 flat. Michigan on the rings with a 68.6, still a high score. And unfortunately, Penn State, despite this being their best event, they only managed to score a 64.35, I believe.
They will not be too happy with that. They've got a little bit of work to pick that score back up. As Hamish said, that is their best event, so they've got a little bit of ground to make back up. And they can absolutely do that. They just need to make sure that they're really focusing and very specific in how well they can do the next apparatus.
Now in the second rotation, we will see the Michigan Wolverines on the floor. Penn State have moved to the still rings, and the Fighting Illini will be on the pommels. Up first, we have Evan Manamon, freshman.
Not a massively high start value here, but quite a clean routine. Scissor travel.
Evan into the Stockley work on the one handle, and then into the travel across the pommel horse. That is known as a tomfei, and that is a fall.
Big mistake there.
Evan, I believe, was attempting the back Roth skill, and unfortunately fell
over the floor. Back 1.5, much front layout full. Beautiful straight line. Back layout, quite a simple skill there, but making sure he's doing it perfectly, minimizing his deductions. Back double twist, stuck landing. Beautifully clean work here.
This is Parker Chiapuzio on the floor, finishing his routine.
Back 2.5, a little hop backwards, but a clean routine.
Runs back to the corral, and here we have back on the pommel horse with Evan Manavon. Into the dismount, he is paused.
It's a lot of strength work there for Evan. It's going to be quite a big deduction now, unfortunately. for the Fighting Illini.
Fighting Illini looking to capitalise on Penn State's low pommel score. Next up on the rings for the Nittany Lions Penn State, I believe was Eric Lung.
Gymnasts go through their routines in their own head, making sure they're visualizing what's going on and trying to get as many reps of that routine in their head done as possible so that once they get up on the apparatus, it feels like they've done it a million times.
Eric here waiting for Sam Zakuki's ring score. .3 start value, so not very high indeed. And Sam will be scoring a 13.1 for that event, which means his teammate Eric Long can go next.
Maltese, very flat position, slightly high but very, very strong. Back around straddle planche.
Very strong, very flat.
Very nicely done.
Not quite held long enough there in the Maltese position. Unfortunately, that will be a pretty heavy deduction.
Eric Long, let's hope his lung is big enough to get him through this routine. Enough oxygen in there. Get through this big ring set here. Let's hope that lung is nice and full. Hold back full twist, small hop, but very strong routine. Performed quite well there. Should be happy with that. Instead, be happy with that solid performance.
Cameron Bott on the floor exercise. A few shaky first tumbles from Cameron, I have to say. Not looking as sharp as he normally is on the floor being one of his better pieces.
Those last two tumbles have been pretty clean there, so he's pulled it back.
Absolutely. Cameron going into his dismount right now. The round off the triple twist. Quite a large pop back there, Clay.
Yeah, quite a step there. You can see he's not very, very happy, but look, a solid routine where it hasn't fallen. I'm sure that'll score quite well, not quite as well as he'd hoped, but...
and that was Manny Muehlhauser on the pommel horse. Fell, unfortunately.
That's 2 falls now for the Fighting Illini. Following up on what Penn State did, I think.
Here it is. Looks like he just slipped. Caught the handle in his ribs there. Sure, that might be very nice.
Looked like it might hit him right in the crown jewels there as well.
Manny repeating that element. The Magyar done very cleanly, very successfully right there. Into his dismount. Complete support. Great job, Manny.
Bring it back there. Very important once you just hold off that rod and get back up and lead as cleanly as they can across the rest of that routine, which is 5 on 5 counts every single routine matters for these teams.
Here we are on the floor exercise. J4. Very strong in the floor. It's a Big Ten title last year at Iowa in that event.
Twist on the double twist. Very clean, small hop.
That is the double.
Beautiful performance. Once again, very close to a stuck landing. Just a small hop, but very, very solid out there.
So it's using very, very comfortable and multiple somersaulting tumbles also.
A little pommel element on the floor. As Hamish said before, there's a strength or a balance element that has to be performed on the floor as well as the tumble.
jump, double twist, a very popular, often side tumble done by most gymnasts.
Going in for his dismount, it's been a very, very solid routine so far.
Jake Moore for the Wolverines. And again, another fairly large hop. This will see a 3/10 deduction for this type of step. Tommy Estrella on the pommel. And he's also come off. Wow, Fighting Line having a pretty rough time of it on arguably one of their top events.
You have to practice some rodeo to try and keep these guys on the horse.
And they can't quite manage to stay on, unfortunately.
Maybe on the weekends they can go out somewhere, borrow some horses from a local stable and practice riding those bad boys, try and stay on the pommel horse. Got back up, repeated that Savado. Tommy Fay. Once again, Tommy is a very long gymnast.
6'4", standing up straight.
Rumours have it that after he's gone to bed and kind of whole night in his bed that he actually wakes up 7'2" and slowly shrinks during the day, but I'm not really sure if that's a myth or not.
Gymnasts of this height generally more suited to the pommel horse.
And when he is swinging nicely, he looks very, very beautiful. His legs are very straight, his line is very straight, which is why he's such a great pommel horse worker. But unfortunately for the Fighting Illini, that's 3 falls and 3 routines, and that is absolutely not ideal for that team.
Now onto the rings for Penn State.
Beautiful back at rise Maltese. Kip to Maltese. Very, very strong gymnast on the rings at the moment. Back at rise cross.
Very flat in that position and held well. It's looking to be a very good routine.
Both Tuck and Pike Yamawaki, very popular. Back at rise straddle planche. This is a very, very beautiful routine so far for Penn State.
Parker Clayton going into the handstand position, arms locked straight. A slight short hold, I think, on the handstand there, Clay.
Up to the judge's discretion there. That was quite borderline, but and a beautiful stuff this time. That is an incredible routine there.
Very strong indeed. Lots of strength skills.
Parker Clayton and Penn State will be very, very happy with that routine.
Here we have Paul Judah going into his dismount for the Michigan Wolverines. Can he stick? Not quite.
But a very controlled landing.
Absolutely.
Very good, very strong. He is very amped for that routine. Very, very happy. As he should be.
Back to Ian Skirky for the Fighting Line on the pommel horse. Ian recently, wow, what a phenomenal routine that is. He'll be extremely happy about that, as you can see.
Illinois needed a big hit there, and we didn't see the whole routine, but it looks like Ian has provided that for this team. Coach Dan Rivera in the background, with a big fist pump.
Him himself, a very accomplished pommel horse worker in the NCAA. Dan earning a total, I believe, of 47 titles.
Something along those lines, something outrageously good there. So a very, very good coach for Fighting Illini on the pommel horse, which is why they generally have a very strong pommel horse routine, which unfortunately hasn't quite showed up until now with Ian Skirky, and then hopefully backed up by Michael Paradise.
Michael, a specialist on this event, and it being senior night, this is the last routine that he will perform at Huff Hall for the Fighting Illini.
Little prep talk there from Dan Rivero. Michael Paradise getting into the zone here, very important routine here.
Judges still deliberating over Parker Clayton's ring score, but Michael's going to go ahead anyway. Here we have it. Michael Paradise, a phenomenal pommel horse worker. What can you do for the Fighting Illini?
Starts off with a big scissor to the end. Just notice Michael's line and how beautiful he looks and how extended he is on the pommel horse compared to some of the other pommel horse workers.
The scores just in for Ian Skirka, a 14.7.
Beautiful work.
5-7 start. Michael looking to either match or beat that score, which he is doing a very good job of so far.
Barely even a form break so far from Michael Paradise here on the pommel horse. This line is beautiful, as I said before. Just going in for a dismount now, I believe.
And he does it. Fantastic routine for Michael. Under a lot of pressure there.
I'm sure he would have liked to travel up and down the pommel horse in a handstand position, which gives him slight extra difficulty for that routine, but nonetheless, he's performed very well there. To the floor,
we have Nick Guy for the Michigan Wolverines. So far, fantastic routine with plenty of high-power tumbling.
He is a really nice guy. Into the dismount, I believe.
The very popular triple twist. Not quite a stick. Haven't quite seen as many stuck dismounts from the Wolverines as we'd like to see today.
Double layout, full twist, beautiful dismount there.
Isaac Hammett on the steel rings.
Isaac Hammett scored a 14.6, I believe, on the rings last week. So he'll be hoping to get a very high score like that this week as well. He's very, very strong rings worker and really helps out Penn State on.
And Michael Paradise scoring a huge 15.3. My bad, a 14.95 on the pommel horse for Michael Paradise.
Wow.
Managing to beat Ian Skirky.
Very, very impressive there.
The Illini saving what could have been a totally disastrous pommel horse rotation with the likes of Ian and Michael Paradise at the end, putting up some very big scores indeed. 14.7, I believe that's Ian's season high, career high at least.
I believe so.
There are some Wolverine fans in the audience there.
Right after these replays.
Highlights the second rotation. Here the fighting line, home crowd very excited and passionate. That was here.
There's a dismount from Ian Skirky, which got the Illini back on their feet after a few falls on pommel horse. Beautifully clean gymnastics that was performed in that rotation. All three teams definitely had some ups, definitely had some downs, but time for them to put those behind them and get on to the next apparatus. We will be back with you guys at the start of the next rotation. Stay tuned.
And there we are, the beginning of the third rotation, ladies and gentlemen. We are back at Huff Hall. The ring scores for the teams are the Fighting Illini with a 135.45 in second place. Michigan taking the lead with a 137.35. And Penn State coming in.
That is 136.35 for Michigan, not 137.
But now we're onto the rings for the Fighting Illini.
Yep, we've got Jordan Kovacs here on the rings who had a week off last week. Beautiful back right straddle planche. Hopefully that extra week off is giving him a bit of energy to really slay this ring set.
horse.
Great pommel horse worker.
Looking very much like Tommy Mistretta. In fact, looks like him just with a buzz cut.
Illinois actually had a gymnast a few years ago, Dre, and oh wow, that's a spitting image there. She grabbed Dre's head and elongated him a little bit, and
There you have it.
there you have it. And a beautiful dismount there. Michigan, we didn't get to see the whole routine, but from the reaction, I'm sure that
Yeah, Nick Guy seemed to love that routine. Next up on the floor for the Wolverines, we have Eric Lung. Now, unlike the rings, floor has a time limit of 70 seconds. Anything over that, and the gymnast will incur a deduction. They're notified at 60 seconds with a bell ring. They have 10 seconds left.
starting off with a front and half twist, difficult skill, a big step there, but performed quite cleanly in the air. Front double tuck.
Quite a large hop forward there. Not quite stuck as well as other gymnasts that we've seen. But now into the front double full, punch half turn, into a stuck landing, that is good.
Back 2.5, front layout. Quite a difficult routine he's performing here. Doesn't quite have some of the finesse that we've seen in the specialists on the floor so far. But he's doing a very good job on those landings, minimizing his deductions.
Into the butterfly element on the floor, Justin Spring, the head coach of the men's Illinois team, also performing this when he was in college. Again, the back double full, very popular side tumble.
And ready for this dismount here. Back triple twist. Oh, very close
Really
to the
a
stop
stick.
landing there, but a small little step, but he'll be very happy with that performance, I believe.
And Matt Lasker on the pommel horse with a 14.35. This is an extremely good score. Michigan Wolverines wanting to maintain the lead at this moment in time. They had a very good floor rotation with a 70.45, beating the Illini by just under half a point.
Satchel Hudson getting ready for his rings routine. Satchel is a senior. He's going to be looking to put up a very high score here with those the fireworks coming out of the top of his head. We're hoping that this routine here is fireworks.
Absolutely. He's also opted for the headband. Not a very popular choice by gymnasts, but Satchel, a big fan, clearly.
We do not want any sweat dripping in those eyes mid-routine. That's what he's thinking, so...
No, absolutely not. That would definitely sting.
That would.
Satchel joined the Fighting Illini last year, midway through his junior year, after unfortunately the UIC gymnastics program was shut down. Satchel transferred to the Fighting Illini and has proved to be a very, very important part of the rings lineup.
Big routine here coming from Satchel Hudson of Illinois. Back and rise to straight planche, very difficult. He's done a very well low to Maltese.
Wow, and that is flat. One of the best Maltesers that we've seen today, competed on the rings.
Flat as a pancake there. And once again,
Another one. Satchel now performing the Yamawaki sequences, tucked and piked into the straddle sit, pike sit.
all about the legs together, straddle sit, I think. Whoa! He's got a rip guard and he's making sure everyone knows about it. I'm not completely sure on the rules, but I believe that Satchel will get the opportunity to repeat his routine at the end of the lineup because of a malfunction with those grips.
Sam Zakuni here on the floor, finishing his routine with a front double Arabian. And Joel Diaz with a 13.35 before Satchel Hudson, 15.4 start value. That's a fairly solid score for the Illini on the rings.
There it is. That man's strong. You can see the amount of force going through that arm. He's hanging.
And there he's showing the ripped guard.
I'm unsure if he's waving at the crowd or showing the ripped guard there, but either way.
Performance that often seen in swinging rings in the Cirque du Soleil. Not normally in the NCAA gymnastics that we see elements that spectacular.
He may get a call up from Cirque du Soleil after that one.
Very exciting meet so far. We've had a lot of things happen in this big tri-meet against Michigan, Penn State and the Fighting Illini.
Jacob Moore here on the pommel horse from Michigan. Scissor inward. Another scissor element. He's swinging very smoothly.
Into the stopping sequences on the one hand lift. Slight leg split a few times there. Judges will be able to pick up on that, and again, that is a big one.
He's saved that well though. Making sure he can continue this routine without falling off. Maximising that score. Up into the dismount. Other than that leg break, he'll be pretty happy with that routine.
Absolutely. Back onto the floor now.
Once again, another one of those butterfly full twists. And they're not very popular usually.
No.
We've seen 3 of them tonight. One from, is one from each team, or has there been 2?
I believe we've had Connor, Penn State, and from Michigan as well. All 3 of them opting for that skill. Maybe they're taking inspiration from Justin Spring. I'm sure he'll be very happy about that. Don't believe Justin will be attempting any butterflies recently, however, beyond his prime. Max the
Stuck landing there. Doesn't look too happy, so I'm interested to see how the rest of that routine went.
Max a very strong rings worker, the Fighting Illini. Marcus Shears on the pommel horse for the Wolverines, showing great extension in that first scissor element. And also in his, there is a fall for Marcus on the pommel.
This pommel horse is taking names today. Does not want anyone to stand on there. Someone is waving a big red flag on the end of that ball. That's knocking everyone off.
The horse was clearly not given his breakfast this morning. Pretty angry about that.
He'll get back onto the pommel horse and complete this routine with as little deductions as possible to still maintain that high score. As I said earlier, 5 gymnasts go, 5 scores count, so every single count matters here for these scores.
Jacob Moore with 12-7 before Marcus Shears. Not the highest, but a solid score for the Wolverines.
Slight pause on that dismount there.
What we're looking for on the dismount is fluid motion up to handstand with very little pause. A few of these gymnasts have been showing some strength in that element, which will cost them a deduction. Brennan has his arm on the floor for Penn State.
There is a strong ball worker.
Wow, a very unusual element there. I'm not quite sure what to think about this, but you have it.
It's actually like a ball, actually, but wearing my hands, not something typically we see in gymnastics, but very, very exciting to see these things here. Lines up for these guys right here.
On the floor, featuring triple twist. Slight just down, slight hold.
very hard to perform back to back.
Absolutely.
So he's, yes, been given the opportunity to try again and not count that fall, but who's to say that his second routine won't be much more difficult for him. So
that lactic acid will have built up in his muscles, and as we said earlier, we would hope that Satchel has a very big lung capacity to get rid of all that lactic acid and perform a second routine better.
That's it. Well, with how big that chest looks right now, I'm thinking those lungs are nice and full of oxygen.
Absolutely.
Pretty sure that's how it works. Correct me if I'm wrong, but...
No, I think you're correct.
Yes, I am. Yep.
Here he's seen chalking up slope. Look at the camera. Pretty impressive he managed to spot that. Just some running scores for you for the Fighting Illini on the steel rings. Jordan Kovac led the team off with a 13.7. Next we have Joel Diaz at a 13.35. Satchel Hudson performing his rings routine now. Max Diab a 13.8 despite a slight mistake that managed to see. Still a great score. And Danny Gray with a 14.55. I believe that is the highest score in the competition so far on the rings.
See if they Satchel can get through this. That's beautiful once again, flat as it can be. Satchel is looking strong so far.
Ball to position again.
Very difficult.
I think I can do my ironing on that clay. It's very flat.
Absolutely.
I get all the creases out of my shirt. Satchel doing very well for his second routine. This is why we prep more than one routine in a day. Us gymnasts want to be prepared for whatever happens.
A little shaky there in the handstand. He just needs to pull this dismount together to get a nice score for the Illini. 1.5 twist, and he lands.
Does.
He'll be very happy with that. After having to do a routine already, backing it up with that, that finishes off a strong rotation for Illinois.
Michigan currently have a 2:03.10 after 3 rotations. They are halfway through their meet. We'll be awaiting Satchel's score for the Fighting Illini.
Penn State have a 2:01.20, and we will be waiting for Illinois' score.
Looks like a very close competition indeed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 3rd rotation for this Big Ten tri-meet here at Huff Hall. The Fighting Illini will be moving on to the vault. Next rotation, Penn State, I believe, will be on the parallel bars, and Michigan, the Wolverines, will be moving on to the high bar. Here we have some highlights of that 3rd rotation. Cameron Bach finishing his whole routine there. A few highlights from the floor.
There were a few stuck landings on rings for Illinois, which obviously helps them out a lot. You get that 0.1 bonus for every
Yes, we've seen a
stick.
few of those.
Yes.
Great job for them.
Very handy.
Okay, we are back for the 4th rotation.
In Huff Hall.
The 2-minute warm-up touch just coming to an end now. The Fighting Illini will be on the vault first, Michigan on the high bar, and Penn State on the parallel bars. Connor McCall, I believe, will be first up for the Fighting Illini. Connor, very good at sticking his vault. People often say that he's put super glue on his feet before going, which is surprising because he can still run. Oh, nearly a stick for Connor.
Slightly low chest there. He was clearly going for that stick landing, but didn't quite get it.
Team scores after the third rotation. Illinois, the Fighting Illini, are in the lead with a 206.15. The Michigan Wolverines are in second position with a 203.1.
Adam Wooten on high bar now from Michigan. Beautiful straight catcher.
Oh,
Straight catcher hard. That was meant to be. He's held on with one hand there.
oh dear. It's all coming undone. Michigan.
Unfortunately, I think they're going to treat that like a fall anyway. Because he's come back onto the bar. But he fought very hard to keep that on.
Adam will be tired after that. It's not normal that a gymnast is doing extra diets like that in their routine and having to carry on, but he's doing a good job so far.
Running up for his dismount here.
Got to commend him on that for finishing the routine pretty strong.
He's a very good high bar worker. Small unfortunate mistakes like that unfortunately happen quite a lot in gymnastics with how difficult some of the skills that they perform. So
yes, well done Adam on the high bar. Back onto the vault for the Fighting Illini, we have Zach Zielkowski. Bit of a low landing there on the vault.
see he's got his ankle pretty heavily taped. So hopefully that one didn't burn the ankle too much. Nice little high five from Alex Diab, who's helping out as one of the assistant coaches or the volunteer coaches here for Illinois.
Connor Cool with 13.8 for Zach on the vault. Whole point off that vault without a fall. Next on the high bar for the Michigan Wolverines we have Uche Eke.
Sebastian Kiana on the vault, one of the seniors, Illinois, once again wearing his corset.
Not the usual attire for a gymnastics meet, but
Yeah, with his vault.
great pop.
Beautiful vault there.
Well done, Bass. He'll be very happy with that.
And he's looking good doing it. Usually there's a few more little flowers or something like that on his uniform with that corset going, but this time he's opted for the plain black.
Yes, understated and stealthy. Uche Eke on the high bar now. Adam Wooten scored an 11.85. What can Uche do? Huge
Wow.
releasing catch there. That is called the Coleman. Clay, I believe you do that skill.
I do.
Oh, and he's way off on that Kovac, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate for him there. Fall after that first routine of Adams as well. 2 falls so far.
Oh,
We see a fall on parallel bars as well, Penn State so far. A few little mistakes happening here as we enter into the back half of the competition for both Michigan and Penn State. Illinois seem to be doing an okay job on vault. Nothing too special so far, but
here is Evan Manavong, freshman from Kansas City, Missouri.
quite a nice vault there.
Good. Very clean lines from Evan. Absolutely. Yes, Clay, it doesn't matter how strong you start off the competition, you must finish it strong as well.
That's it.
One-arm giant there from Uche. Can he stick the dismount? Not quite. A slight hop forward. That'll be, unfortunately, another fairly low score for Michigan on the high bar, despite being first ranked in the nation.
Max Diab here with a 2.5 twist. Landing quite well, stepped out, big step, but clean and high vault there. You can see in the background of that, Evan Manavong was 14.3 for his double twist.
That was a great score for Evan.
Max will be hoping to score slightly higher than that, but if you step out the lines like we saw Max Diab just do, then there's a small deduction, which you won't be too happy that he's got, but other than that, he seems to have quite a clean vault.
on parallels for the Nittany Lions.
Bit of a funny angle here to see the parallel bars that we go.
Oh,
With a Healy.
slight muscle up to handstand there. Bit of a leg split. The long swing into the Diamondov, into a, wow, that was a very nice
Very beautiful straddle
show front.
Double back dismount.
He betters the dismount of his teammate.
We've just seen a fall on another fall on high bar from Paul Judah. It's very unfortunate for Michigan, as Henry said earlier, that they are the #1 high bar team in the nation. So 3 routines, 3 falls is not going to do them any favors.
No, much like Penn State's pommel rotation, looking to capitalize on their strongest pieces where they can get ahead of the other teams, unfortunately making it more difficult for themselves to do so on the high bar.
Struggling to catch up there.
For completing his second releasing catch of his routine.
Stoop through.
Into the squat dislocate. Skills both Clay and I have competed for many years.
Stoop half, very beautiful.
I unfortunately have not been able to do that one. Winding up for the dismount.
High dismount.
Below landing and another step. Gymnasts will really want to capitalize on the dismounts of their routines because, as we've stated before, you are awarded a bonus for a stuck dismount. Not only do you get rid of the deduction that you take on the step, but you also are rewarded for that. So it's a double bonus for a stuck dismount.
Zach Zakutny on parallel bars. Up next.
Sam's Zakutny.
Sorry, Sam.
Not a problem.
That is my mistake.
Zach Zakutny, that would be like Zach Ziolkowski, would be 2 Zs.
It would be, wouldn't it? I think that's what I was getting mixed up with.
Right.
Sam has competed for Canada on multiple occasions. Very, very strong gymnast. See a little bit of trouble with that swing handstand. Same sort of issues with that Healy. And we see that Sam's got a very nice line.
Proving that he can push through this routine despite small errors and mistakes that may happen through it. Some very nice combination work on the end of the parallel bars. Often long hanging elements like that, Clay, are done nearer to the middle or on the very ends of the bars, because that's where the gymnasts get the most bounce.
Very interesting news there. Beautiful dismount there. Quite a difficult routine there from Sam Zakutny. A few little errors, but overall I think they should be happy with that routine.
Some interesting work on the high bar here for Michigan's Jonathan Louis. Wow. Jonathan just pipped me. Sorry about that. Jonathan just pipped me to the high bar title at the Windy City Invitational early this year.
He's finished up strong. He'll be very happy with that. That man has some very, very strong and flexible shoulders there to do some of those skills, and he's done them very, very well. Michigan will be happy with that routine. A great routine to sort of bring them back from a couple of mistakes earlier on in the lineup.
Here we are awaiting some scores for the Nittany Lions. Alex Frack with a 12.75.
It's a replay of that dismount from high bar and a little hop forward, but performed quite well. As you can see, he's happy, both him and his coach. A little high five there.
Sam Zakutny with a 13.1. Yeah, oh, very sorry, I believe that's a 13.8. How on earth I managed to get mixed up there, I'll never know.
It's okay, mate. We all make mistakes, just don't let it happen again.
Try my best. Here we are, now onto the high bar. Cameron Bock, one of Michigan's top boys. looking to put together a solid routine here to save Michigan from despair on the high bar. Pentas on the parallel bars for Penn State.
Suarez there.
Yes, Suarez, I believe, an element invented by one of their assistant coaches. I believe. Could be wrong. Looking like a very solid routine here. Into double pike. Six
Stuck
hits.
landing. We're very happy with that. Beautiful dismount there.
Back to the high wall here. Cameron Bach. What can he do? What can he show us? It's a lovely straight catch over.
A lot of importance on this routine from Cameron to bring Michigan home on this piece after not having such a great start. He's doing a very good job so far.
Gymnast before him, Jonathan Lee, scoring a 13.5, which is a much better score for Michigan. They'll be happy with improving upon the first few fairly low scores.
Into the dismount.
Double.
Stuck landing. And he will be happy with that. Big clap. See his team in the corral going off like a frog in a sock. They will be happy to finish off that rotation with that routine.
Unfortunately not being an Australian native player, you'll have to explain to me and the viewers what that means.
Well, basically just imagine putting a frog that does not want to go into a sock.
Absolutely.
And imagine
The chaos.
yeah, basically the repercussions of that action. You'd want to let the frog out pretty quickly, I think. Quite distressing for that frog if you were to do that. Do not recommend. Got some replays of high bar rotation. Massive Coleman there.
Solid dismount from Alex Frack.
We had a couple beautiful dismounts on B-bars from Penn State, including this one with a stuck landing, which have finished their B-bar rotation off.
And there is Cameron finishing off the rotation for the Wolverines. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the fourth rotation of the tri-meet at Huff Hall in Champaign. We'll be back in a sec for the fifth rotation, where we'll see Michigan on the vault, the Fighting Illini on the parallel bars, and Penn State will advance to the high bar. Thank you very much.
See you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back in Huff Hall as we start the
Fifth
rotation. Wow, this competition is going quickly. We have Illinois on the parallel bars, we have Penn State on high bar, and Michigan on vault.
Just to give you some event scores from that fourth rotation, Michigan scored a 64.65 on the high bar. Definitely not a score that you'd expect to see from the country's first nationally ranked team. The Illini.
Starting on vault here.
Jake Moore. Oh, was a bit low.
I don't believe it.
That was not Jake Moore. My
Unfortunately,
eyes are deceiving me.
a little short on that landing, unfortunately. Vault is one of those apparatus you want to make sure you capitalize because you can score very high, so that isn't exactly what they're after, I believe.
Joel Diaz now on the parallel bars with a fantastic long swinging combination there. The giant into the Bavzar. The Bavzar named after American gymnast Raj Bavzar.
Tippel, very solid on the parallel bars so far.
Joel proved to be a fantastic part of the PY lineup for the Fighting Illini. Slight arm bend. Now unfortunately will be a deduction, but can he stick the disc? Not quite. He fell.
That is devastating for Illinois' parallel bar score. After a beautiful routine, he's put his hands down on that dismount, which will be a full point of 4. So he will not be happy with that and his team, but I'm sure they'll pick that up in the next game.
Moving on to the high bar now. Calvin Valdez winding up for his dismount. A double tucked.
Good start dismount, wow.
Not very common dismount. I have to say, out of the area celebrating. that was.
We'd love to see celebrations there.
Switch it, okay, on the ball. Very clean, double ball. As a massive.
Asked what that,
Doing a jump back.
what that celebration was. I haven't put it into my repertoire of celebrations.
Unfortunately, I don't have any phone around mine, so it was more sensitive to sound. There is a long one on the high bar. Next up to Lindsay Myers. But before that, we're going to head to vault, where we have 4 judo. We're going to have a pretty good day for the Michigan Wolverines, scoring a high of 15 on the floor. What can you do on vault? It's a 2.5.
Beautiful 2.5.
Great job. That is a
Slight hop
beautiful,
back. We can see these
very
excited
excited.
about that.
Going off like a ball in a china shop, as I believe you'd say.
Yes, sir. Very accurate.
Zach Treadway on the parallel bars for the Illini.
Some beautiful swinging work there from Zach Treadway.
Just a few skills left. So Zach's completes routine. The front up rise into the double front.
Got a beautiful landing there. Illinois.
He'll be very happy about that after Joel's unfortunate fall, the routine before him. Nevertheless, the Illini are still going strong.
On the high bar with that one-arm giant, very impressive. Weiler.
Off the crowd, please, other one arm. Winding up for his dismount. I believe he did triple back.
Wow.
Bit of a hop forward, but what a spectacular dismount.
Very, very exciting there. Wraps up into a tiny little ball and spins 3 times around. It's impressive that he knows where he is at the end of that to then come out and land. Very impressive dismount we do not see very often at all. Double twist on vault from Michigan. Nice and clean. It's really what Michigan needs at this point is implement the clean vaults. Make sure they can get their score back up.
And here we have Nick Guy on the vault for Michigan.
What a guy.
What a guy. He will be opting, I believe, for the Yuchenko approach onto the vault, which will include a round off before the table.
Saw his warm up and it was enormous, so I'll be very excited to see what happens here.
In fact,
Incredible height there. Beautiful vault.
very, very high. Ask him if it's cold up there when he comes round.
Surprised he doesn't have to wear an oxygen mask
No.
during that vault with how much amplitude he gets.
Absolutely. Altitude sickness normally kicks in at around that height, and he's, despite that, done a very good vault.
After a beautiful performance on the rings, bars,
Solid work.
the handstand.
Danny proves to be a very strong rings worker, where some of that skill does transfer into the parallel bars.
Nicely done there. Sometimes Danny has some troubles with that help.
To the half lever or the L sit. Danny Graham, and he sticks it. That is phenomenal work for the Illini on the parallel bars.
Danny Graham having an absolute day out here. Very excited with that. After a massive score in rings, I do not doubt that parallel bar score will be creeping on that score, that ring score as well.
And here we have Andreas Perez on the high bar for the Knitting Lions. Before him was Eric Lung with a 12.8 claim.
Endo roll, sorry, an endo in a L grip. Very, very interesting. You don't see that too often. Impressive skill there. Lining up for his dismount here. Half in, half out. Small little hop, beautiful dismount there. Very happy with that routine from what we saw.
So Some more scores. Zach Treadway for the Illini scoring a 13.35. It's a very solid score. For Zach, we'll be awaiting Danny's score very soon. As for some vault scores for Michigan, they started off their leadoff guy with a 12.75, which is a great score. Not actually that high for some of the vaults that have been competed by other gymnasts, nevertheless.
Jordan Kovacs on the parallel bars, as we said, had a week off last week due to injury, so he'll be looking to make a splash into this team on the parallel bars as one of his stronger events here.
Yes, making a splash, often a diving term.
Let's hope he didn't put too much honey on the bars that makes a splash.
No.
Probably slip off if that was the case. Nice Suarez.
Suarez, what a name. Jordan is a great P-ball worker, and the Illini will have definitely missed his scores in training and meets that they've been at where he has been absent. But he is back in the team now, winding up for his dismount, slight hop forward.
A few little errors in there, a little checks and things that will cause him to receive a few little deductions, but an overall pretty successful routine. The high bar, a scoop to handstand.
Alex Frack performing what is known commonly as the Russian Giant. Not quite sure why it's called the Russian Giant.
I would take a strong guess to say
Compete.
it was quite common in Russia.
Yeah. I'd say it was competed by Russian gymnasts at some point.
Happy with that routine, very clean.
The handshake from his head coach, Randy. And Andreas Perez before Alex Frack there scoring a 12.7. It's a fairly solid score for Penn State, who will be wanting to improve on the country's #1 ranked high bar team, Michigan. After they had a few falls, Penn State will definitely want to capitalize on that.
A couple of big routines coming up for both Penn State and Illinois. We have Sebastian Kiana on P-bars, who's capable of big scores, and Sam Zakutny on high bar, who can also score very well. Beautiful high bar workers, so both very exciting routines coming up.
Jordan Kovac scoring a 13.2. Before Jordan was a 13.6 from Danny Graham. But now we have Sebastian Kiana, senior.
Unfortunately made quite a large error there on his heelys from the handstand.
But he's come back well. Another bit of a leg split. That is much better.
Splits the handstand. Heely. Giant down middle, very hard skill, and he's done that well into the giant.
Fast performing, lots of long hanging skills here, proving that he is very versatile on the parallel bars. Can he stick the dismount? And he can. That is fantastic. That is great news for the Illini on the parallel bars. Clearly very passionate as well about his routine.
Onto his high bar. High bar routine's been going for a while already, and he's still got releases coming out, so that shows the depth and the intensity of Sam's high bar. Pushes for half and half. That stuck man.
Dismount.
He will be very happy with that. I am sure. Very serious face there. It is game time.
Great job, Sam.
And he is ready to take that energy back to the team and finish off this competition. All three teams finished up with all their gymnasts now, prepping for their final apparatus. We will take a small break and then we will be back for that final apparatus. Very exciting stuff. See you when we return.
Thank you.
Back to Huff Hall as we see the final rotation of the tri-meet between Illinois, Michigan, and Penn State.
Some scores for you in the team event. The Illini are in the lead with a 341.3, 4 points ahead of second place, which is Michigan. The Wolverines have a 337.9, and it will come down to the last two pieces, the P-bars and the high bar for those two teams. And unfortunately, Penn State slightly behind with a 332.7.
As Penn State go to vault though, which is a very high scoring event, so it is not over until the cookie crumbles here. And some of these scores, they're getting close, and with parallel bars and high bars sometimes being a little bit dangerous with balls and things like that, it's going to be an excellent last rotation. I think the crowd might be a bit disappointed because they paid for their whole seats and they're only using the front edge.
Yes, Clay. Very funny, that is. In fact, they are on the edge as their seats travel to the seat rotation here. As you said, the fat lady definitely hasn't sung yet. There is still a lot of opportunity for these three teams to secure different positions that they're currently in. Michigan on the parallel bars. As I said, the vault typically a very high scoring piece in these six operators. The vault normally gets around the 70.0 mark, so Penn State will absolutely be wanting to capitalize on that, finishing on one of the strongest events.
Very, very exciting stuff, as this is a Big Ten matchup. And
Cameras on Evan Manavong. Oh, I take that back. The camera will switch to vault. Now it's back onto high bar. I hope you're not dizzy. Zach Treadway with a fantastic routine. He'll be very happy with that, indeed.
then he finishes
Getting the crowd going.
his competition for the night. Very happy with that. Vault. Maybe changing a double twist a little bit low onto the vault there, but he's managed to salvage that. Parallel bars.
Caleb Booth for the Penn State on the vault that was. And here we have Jacob Moore completing a very high, very impressive straddle front, or front 1 of 3, as it's often known in the NCAA.
A little bit short on that stutz.
Clay and I have both had to adjust our vocabulary. In Australia and Great Britain, we don't actually use some of the words that they use in the
Stuck
NCAA.
landing there. Beautiful. Be very happy with that.
Despite that, a stick is still known as a stick.
A stick is a stick. On the vault. Beautiful double twist there. Penn State performed
Champ,
excellently.
Robbie Champ, that was on the vault for AC Lions.
What a champ.
Now, very good. You're a poet and you don't know it. Evan Manavong on the high bar for the IT Illini.
Very high. Beautiful.
Got me on the edge of my seat. Unfortunately, I didn't pay for this. Into the one-arm giant known as the Zula Min.
What a crowd pleaser.
Often known as that. Also, Evan will be finishing up his routine here now. Just a few skills left for the young freshman.
Another one of those. He's really trying to please this crowd.
Come on, Evan.
Hands up for this dismount. Very important here for the team.
Great job.
There he goes. Done well for his team, for Illinois.
Freshman Evan Manavong.
Very happy. Big smile on Evan's face. To vault again. Another beautiful double twist there. Slight little hop. Straight
Braden
step on the
Borromeo. Double B. Braden Borromeo. I think I've heard that name before. Clay? Borromeo? Is he a Lord of the Rings character?
I think it's Barney.
Okay.
I think so.
Very similar. Boromeo, maybe.
Barney, that's it.
That's it.
Parallel bars. Beautiful studs.
Here we have Mitchell Brown for the Wolverines.
Looking very composed up there.
The Wolverines, a very fierce and intimidating name for those of Michigan, but showing
Beautiful dismount there with just a 1/10 hop. Michigan's team are very, very excited here. They are clawing their way back as much as they can to try and sneak through this victory.
Now here we have Josh Cook from Great Britain, a fellow competitor of mine back in the UK. He joined the beginning of this year, starting off his routine with a Yamawaki.
Straight to capture there, beautiful work.
Josh
Straddle, ribbing,
catching the bar with his fingertips.
very clever so far here.
If gymnastics fails, then I definitely would recommend a job in the rock climbing industry.
Again, lining up the dismount here.
Here we go. Come on, Josh.
Stuck
Sticks
there
it
in
for the Illini.
front of a home
The
crowd.
crowd are going absolutely bananas.
They are excited.
The Illini well on their way to clutching this victory. But Michigan Wolverines are right behind. Here we have Uche Eke on the parallel bars.
Incredible front there. Performed very beautifully.
Good skill in the Michigan lineup. First confusion that's doing it. Oh, and that is a
That would be a fall there.
very significant deduction, yes.
Support.
Shows a bit.
Off the rest of this routine. Salvage as much of the reduction as they can. Use for the kayak.
Two steps back.
A little bit shaken after that mistake on the healing. The first half of the routine was performed beautifully, but unfortunately not quite what they were after for the routine.
See some running scores for Michigan on parallel bars. Jake Moore with a 14.0 flat, a very good score indeed for the Wolverines. Richard Brown with a 13.45 coming after that. And we'll be awaiting Uche Eke's score. Cameron Bott will be next up for the Wolverines on the parallel bars. But now, we have Jordan Kovac back in lineup for the Fighting Illini on arguably one of his best pieces.
T-bar high bar would definitely be Jordan's best pieces.
Josh Cook with a 13.8. Massive.
Josh Cook.
I'll be very pleased with that indeed. Jordan.
Unfortunately missed that, put it a little bit too far. That's a fall to the Illini on high bar.
Sorry.
Replay just slightly too long. Rips off with those fingertips.
Possibly a bit of had Josh Cook's strength. May have been able to hold on there.
Maybe just if he hadn't put his fingernails last night, that might have been
Very good point.
So,
Absolutely. Jordan will carry on with his routine, however.
maximising the score he can get regardless of the fall repeats.
Good, and he's on the bar. That just proves he can overcome the pressure despite it being very high. Jordan hitting those handstands with the simple blind change into the endo. Also getting that handstand on point. Winds up the dismount here. What can he do?
Double
And he
double,
sticks it.
still landing. He's finished that routine off beautifully, regardless of that mistake early on.
Jordan, despite the fall, has really minimised the rest of the deductions that could potentially be taken on that routine, which is a very good skill indeed. Often gymnasts stumble after they've fallen. Jordan seems to be doing the opposite, rose to the occasion despite the small hiccup.
Last the Illini.
You're just awaiting a score for Jordan Kovac on the high bar. I believe Uche Epe scored an 11.65 on the power bars for the Wolverines, which is, I'm sure Clay won't disagree, quite a low score.
Yeah, unfortunately that won't be what Michigan were after. Two mistakes from someone that they...
But Jordan has managed to secure a 12.7 with the fall. The score, had he not fallen, would have been right up there in the highest scoring scores of this event.
Coming up is Coleman.
Good man.
Look at that. Very long arms here, which is obviously a massive advantage. Straight to Archer. Looking good so far from that. Very high flying routine here. Straight to Archer. Lots more for this. Here he goes again. Straight off.
And he's managed to stay on there. Fantastic work from Mass. I'm actually off my seat right now, not even using the edge of it. Come on, Bass. Can he stick it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the crowd is going absolutely mental. He was happy with that. So the crowd. They are putting things together. This Illinois team today.
Meanwhile, on the power bars, despite the uproar from the crowd, Paul Judah finishing his power bars routine. We have Elizabeth Sebastian stuck dead, double fist pump to the sky,
Big tap to the big chest. Huge kisses to the
celebrating the
crowd.
crowd. He is a hero here in Champaign. Waiting on some scores now, we have Cameron Bach on the power bar scoring 14.1.
Big score
It's a
there.
big score, but unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to make up for the slight gap of Uche Epe on this event. Nevertheless, Cameron rose up.
Illinois team huddle here is led by team captain Mark Paradise, who scored
A great effort from the Fighting Illini. Penn State finished up their
Whoa.
six-piece meet with a 4:02.2. Now the Illini just 9 points behind, without counting Sebastian's score. So they will absolutely look to overtake Penn State in that. And Michigan also 2 points behind the Illini there. So this is going to be a very close meet indeed. We all can't wait for these scores. Sebastian scores a 13.55.
very respectable score there for
Wow.
Sebastian.
And I believe that will take Illinois to 408.9. That's a great 406.9. And that is slightly off. It is not my major.
By the looks of things, we have Michigan scoring at a 405.1. Making big balls.
I think the Illini have taken it.
Looks like the Illini have won this priming.
Phenomenal work from the boys in orange today.
Crowd going wild.
They
I
have
think
clutched the victory.
that may be enough confirmation for us to be able to say that Illini have in fact won this tri-meet with a 406.9, Michigan coming in second with a 405.1, and Penn State with a 402.2 as
Wow.
this meet.
What
rounds
a
out.
moment for the seniors of this team. Sebastian Kiana, Satchel Hudson, Zach Treadway, Jacob Light and Michael Paradise.
After coming off a fairly disappointing weekend last week, the Illini will be very, very happy to dismantle Michigan from their
Undefeated record
streak. Yeah, exactly. So Michigan obviously will be slightly disappointed, but Illinois very, very happy. And Penn State, I'm sure, have a lot of things that they will look to work on to improve on for next week. Overall, some brilliant gymnastics on all apparatus from all teams today. I was very impressed by all three teams.
Yes, and this being a tri-meet, this means that Illinois will take 2 wins from tonight. Michigan taking 1, and Penn State unfortunately taking a loss. 2 losses. That is very devastating. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I've been Hamish Carter.
And Clay Stevens, it's been a pleasure broadcasting this meet to you guys. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
I'm going to end this stream, this live stream on YouTube soon. But I just got out of the shower, so I'm like putting my clothes back on. I wish the Michigan Wolverines would have finished first at the meet, but they finished second. So yeah, get on. Hit the big red button and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.